Hello, everybody. My name is Nekpe Obasoge, broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada. So today we're here to discuss about the political climate of Nigeria, given that the election is coming up in 2023. And I have with me all the way from Nigeria, Benin City, Mr. Tony Abolo, a veteran broadcaster and a political analyst. Thank you for joining us today from Benin City, sir.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
The election is coming up in 2023. What is your take on it?
Unfortunately, the climate is not so pleasant. In a sense, in the main, that we would have expected that as the elections are about to happen, we should be more looking at how do we recover the country? How do we grab those issues that have bugged us in the last 7 years, almost 8 years? Lack of national cohesion, ethnic cleavages, then unemployment, massive unemployment, a downturn in the economy, insecurity, banditry, then distrust, and the lack of the political class even doing their work of being there to run the government. Everybody's on his own. Those in government are there as political elite, serving themselves. Those who are in the legislature are more after themselves. And the people are left to their own deserts, painfully. But that is the situation. And because of that, there's no conversation going on anywhere in the country about the main agenda, which I think is after these disastrous years of Buhari rule, we ought to begin to say, okay, what do we do about getting a country that works? We've all identified so many of the things that are ill, but we are not discussing them as the front burner issues going against 2023. I mean, what makes it more palpable is that those who call themselves political candidates, or rather the presidential candidates, are busy talking about how they will get the votes, how that let them get the votes. Now, when they get the votes, they will do what not. I mean, they're not even telling them what they want to do, but they want to get the votes. So consequently, that is a sad phenomenon in the country now.
So we have many aspirants aspiring for the presidency come 2023. APC and PDP are dominating. Right now, who is the target in APC?
It's funny when you ask that kind of question. Indeed, because of all the kind of way we play our ethnic politics and the divide in terms of maybe sentiments, you can't talk about a front runner. I'm not too sure we can exactly say this is a front runner. Rather, it is a question of attrition. Whom do you remove so that there's somebody left who can now come forward? Interestingly, while we wait for this conversation online, I made a call to Abuja to find out somebody who could have possibly upset the entire scenario, and that's Oshomole. Oshomole had said he wanted to contest, but then suddenly I'm sure he was pressured not to go ahead because I was talking with those who had written the speech, the declaration speech, but they said everything kept on hold. Then you want to know who prevailed on him not to do that. Then on the other hand comes what do you call him, Jonathan, who playing one kind of funny game. He wants to be persuaded. He wants to be declared a consensus candidate. So if he becomes a consensus candidate, therefore he will now be the one accepted in APC. And he has not even formally declared for APC. He's still in PDP as far as the country knows. But I wanted to paint those kind of, call it subset of movement in the political scene. So if maybe Jonathan was taken as a consensus candidate, then he would have been the front runner, so to speak. But the other person that is presumed to be the front runner is the man with the real war chest, the real money bag, and that's Tinubu. But the thing is he really liked, or are they playing a game with him? Because there seems to be a war of attrition in the Southwest. Any day from now, Amosun, who is a former governor of Ogun State, will declare. we hear that Fahimi, the governor of Ekiti, may want to declare, but he hasn't come forth. And then there's Fayoshe. Then, of course, the real big thing is Oshibanjo, the vice president, declaring who comes from the political family of Tinubu. Now, what is the game? It looks as if it's the typical northern game of politics. Now, when you get two of them fighting, Tinubu and Oshibanjo, they fight, then what happens? They wither each other, if you like, they cancel each other, and therefore the prize will go to the north. Because I think the game that is being played is to ensure that when they now find so much quarrel in the APC, then of course PDP may now bring in the northerner. Though, and then they're also pressurizing the south not to do zoning. Let's all say, oh, we are in the opposition. Therefore, let's give it to whoever can garner the vote. And Atiku claims all around that he can gather the vote. So in a way, if you run without analysis, you're likely to say Atiku is on the one side, being the front runner, having the real war chest for this kind of political campaign, and so does Tinubu have. And of course, it is also said that Tinubu, if he doesn't get a ticket in APC, may abscond and go to another party. Which party? We don't know. But that's the scenario.
Mm-hmm. So people were hoping that Tinubu is going to get the ticket. And Tinubu, I can see that it's not cooperating with the Northerners. I don't think Tinubu knows what is going on between two of them, but I can see them working together in this next election as well. So, looking at the political structure of Nigeria, presidency should be zoned to the southern region. But with the two dominant political parties in Nigeria right now, there is no way the presidency will come to the south. Because Atiku is a very strong candidate. And if he's being nominated as the party leader under PDP, chances are he's going to emerge. He's going to emerge as the president of Nigeria because of what happened in the past, the last election, that people were saying that he won the election, that the election was rigged. So it's going to kind of give him more sympathy votes in this upcoming election. Sympathy vote is very important. And sympathy support from some other political actors in the country as well. And I've seen some Southerners saying that Atiku is not that tribalistic like Buhari. Atiku is more inclusive even when he was the vice president of Nigeria.
Right. If we take that kind of analysis that you are suggesting, sympathy votes and all that kind of thing, yes, that's a very rational way of looking at it. Maybe that was Western kind of politics, not Nigerian politics, not African politics. You see, we are in a state really of anarchy. You see, because the more major thing, if you talk about sympathy, the sympathy rather is now going for the Southeasterners, that Igbos ought to be it. And that's why people are rallying around Obi. One, because he has the understanding of how to run an economy, and we badly want to get this economy. And that is not the fault that Atiku has. Atiku may only, inclusiveness. But what's the point in being inclusive when you are not going to get the economy to function at an optimum? And Obi seems to have the understanding. And I think he should be given the chance. That's where the sympathy should be running. And you can see that the PANDEV, that's the group from the South, then Afenifere from the Yoruba side, then the Simba, that's from the Middle Belt, they are saying it ought to go to the South, which means the Igbos ought to have it. And that is where the sympathy is. Because you see, even if you want to make all that rational analysis of Atiku, to me, because I now understand the Northerners better, I don't trust any one of them anymore. I'm saying it loud and clear. I don't trust any one of them. They don't seem to have the mind to build a country. They would rather build their country rather than build Nigeria. So why should I trust that kind of person? I don't know what he's going to do, because he will maintain those same structures that Buhari has put in place, if at all he wins it. And maybe that's why they are battling with the South, because they know that we will unravel everything that they have put in place. And that's why they don't want any Southerner. They would rather have a Northerner in the person of Atiku to become the candidate, win it, and maintain the structure. So we are divided ethnically. The South is feeling for fairness and equity, it should go to the South, to the Southeast, and go to the Igbos. Because ideally, it ought to go from one zone to the other zone. And so if it's going wrong, let it go to the Igbos. When it's gone to the Igbos, then we can come around and start a new agenda of zoning, whatever it is they want to call zoning. But to exclude the Igbos and not let us forget over 50 to 60 years of the Civil War, I think that's not how you build a country. So we are in a dangerous cusp, and we don't know how it's going to go. And look, I will tell you this. I've read somewhere and I've heard somewhere, the Igbos are saying, if the two parties don't zone the presidency to them, well, you watch out. That's the language of those who are the top elite. And when we're looking at Ohanese. And so when you're looking at Ohanese, which is a major sociocultural group from the East, saying that kind of thing, and some major voices in the East saying that kind of thing, then you better be careful. So we don't know whether it is a simple thing that, it can go to the North and we'll all be quiet. But look at it. Are we gonna? I mean, that's servitude. That's slavery. We do 8 years under Buhari, then we do another, and you can't trust that it's going to be 4 years with Atiku. We will do maybe another 8 years. I mean, that's slavery. That's apartheid. No, that's not on. I don't know whether the ordinary people will take it. I don't know how they will take it. It's all right for the political parties to throw in their candidates, but we don't know how the electorate will react.
So, yes, I understand you, sir. Why, for me, I believe that the presidency is going back to the North is because of Atiku. Atiku will get more sympathy vote from Satanas because of what happened, and he has been able to build structures in the South among the political elite.
Yeah.
So we are looking at, yes. So even though he's a Northerner, he has been able to win the hearts. Yes, he has been able to win the hearts of the political actors in the Southern region, even ordinary citizens. They are saying now that Atiku is not like Buhari, where we understand the fact that people have been debating over this idea of tribalism going on in Nigeria, but they're saying, no, Atiku is not part of that. He has proven it to us for a long time that he's not tribalistic. So that will take the presidency to the North for this upcoming election. I'm just predicting from my observation so far. Peter Obi is a very strong candidate.
Yeah, that's okay.
Peter Obi is a very strong candidate. Yeah. That is exactly the type of candidate that will bring a new vision to Nigeria. However, the cabas, those who are operating the Nigerian politics, will they give that opportunity for a person like Peter Obi to strive? Looking at the history of Nigeria, will the Northerners vote for Easterner? So that is one other question that we have to be asking ourselves. We understand the fact that Peter Obi is a very good candidate. If you ask many Nigerians, they will tell you that he's a good candidate, but the cabas will never allow such candidate to strive in Nigeria. So that is just my insight about this upcoming election in Nigeria. Go ahead, sir.
No, you're quite right, because you see, the Northerners want to play the game and play it into their net, or rather play it to score. And because they want to score, it doesn't matter what happens. They're oblivious of anybody's concern, whether it is the Westerners who are feeling angry, Tinubu feeling not having a good payback, or the Igbos are not happy. So long as they achieve their own ends, they would rather have it their own way or no other way. That's the problem. So, but let's also be realistic with politics. Let's agree that, okay, they've outsmarted us and they want to play this way. What is, like a chess game, what is our move? A very critical question, what is our move? And we're not organized in the South. I was just reading something about Ian Morris looking at how the West got to rule the world. I mean, it's an interesting book, an interesting analysis of the paradox of development, and by Ian Morris. Now, when you look at it in terms of strategy, you ought to say that the Fulanis are very organized. And this organization has come way back from 1960, not just today. And because of that, they always have one step ahead. One step ahead. But we ought to step up the game and begin to ask ourselves, how do you play politics in a robust way that's intellectual, shows maturity, and shows how do we accommodate, call it the threat of the enemy. That is the way to go about it. It may look intellectual, it may look theoretic, but that's the way we're going to solve this problem. But we're not anywhere there. We're not anywhere there. So we might as well give up, let them take it, then maybe our eyes will be more, will open more, and we'll take more rational decisions the next time around.
Let's quickly look at Osinbajo. Osinbajo is aspiring for the presidency. What is the hope for him right now?
Okay, two things people tend to say. When he acted for the president, there was the stress and tempo of ill feeling in the country came down. There was a sense of, this is a man who knows his onions, the man who can call the shots and create a new order. There was a bit of competency, capacity, right? But he is rather a genteel man. And in Nigerian politics, gentility will not do it. In any case, where is he getting the cash? Where is he going to get the money? Where is the structure? So that famous thing, I used to laugh with politicians when they talk about structure many years ago. But now I understand better. Where is his structure?
Yes.
Does he have the kind of structure nationwide?
Yes.
But you still give it to him because he made a few remarks when he came to Benin, when he came to see the Oba of Benin, and saying that because of his vice presidency role, that has given him a chance to interact and interface with many Nigerians in different walks of life. Give it to him. He could have made friends. And of course, people feel that much as we don't like what has happened in the Buhari regime, but a man like Osinbajo can heal the wounds and change the course of events. And he seems to come with something that can make people sympathize if he wins the nomination and becomes the candidate. People can feel, well, let's forgive him and give it to him. That is as far as APC is concerned. Then, of course, there is also the other side. For those who believe in PDP as two major candidates. And so you can say that Atiku is the bridge builder, has built these bridges over the years. He has some experience, but not good enough for 2022, 2023, 2024. When you look at who has the competency for 2023 and 2024 and who can move us, I think I will give it to Osinbajo. But yes. But I will throw in two things, which are things that just happened about yesterday. Maybe you in Canada may not have gotten to hear this. A bishop in Abia wants to be a gubernatorial candidate. Then a Catholic priest in Benue wants to be the gubernatorial candidate. The one in Benue, the Reverend Father, wants to be a candidate under APC. The one in Abia, the Bishop Onoha, wants to be a gubernatorial candidate under ADC. Then you ask yourself, what's going on? What's going on? How did it happen? It means you're laughing. No, but you see, that tells you what happens in the kind of Nigerian politics. Just when you think you've seen everything, something else. Like they say in politics, 24 hours. 24 hours is a long time. So there we are. So a new dimension is coming into our politics. It's not necessarily religion coming into it, but you are seeing some people who are saying to themselves, we ought to get this country in a very vigorous way in terms of character, in terms of ability, in terms of competency, in terms of new values. That's what is coming on. So maybe this is the kind of growth we're having in our political culture.
So Osinbajo would have make a very strong candidate under APC, but do you think that they will nominate Osinbajo? Because I can see that APC is concentrated with
you can't rule out anything.
Many northern leaders.
No.
The northern leaders choose Osinbajo in their primaries.
No.
He said no, right?
No, you see, no. I want to say anything is possible. You see, the Northerners are very calculative. That is the truth. They can calculate that if it is in their best interest, because they say it was an obedient servant. I was just reading something interesting about the North, that the North doesn't like, if you like, the kind of character you find in Wiki being a ruffle and a fighter. No, the Northerners don't take it. They would rather have a gentle, humble person as the guy they want to move on to the sea. Somebody who will come and say, they won't rock the boat. Whatever we have done, please maintain it for us. That is what it may be like, call it the African live and let live approach. That's the Northerner in politics. So maybe they can take their safe bet, a safe bet, because after all, did he do anything negative throughout 8 years? Nothing. So why can't they trust him? And when you come to what has happened in the country in terms of knowing the presidency, knowing the challenges, knowing how to take over from where it stopped, Osinbajo is even in a better place, let's face it, in a better place than anybody else. Yes. All the others are far away from the decision making in Aso Rock. Therefore, give it to him that he's going to be, like you also in social sciences, an insider participant.
Over these years, Nigerian politics, in the Nigerian politics, it's not about your experience. It's about how much you have been able to pay your dues within the political parties in Nigeria. How much you have been able to build structures in the country. It's not about how competent you are or how experienced you are. It's not based on merits. Not based on, otherwise, person like Buhari would have been the president of Nigeria today. But it's based on how much you have been able to build structures in the country. Osinbajo might be the best candidate, but because of some gap in the system, it might not be nominated in the primaries. And that is what we're going to see. That is what we're going to see. So the problem we are facing in Nigeria is that...
Let me take it from where you're arguing. I want to use the scenario of America when Obama won the first time. It was the fortuitous circumstance of the economy and the war. That's what propelled Americans to say, well, this is the man. This is the man. You see, there are tides in the fortunes of man. And between now and 2023, it's a long time. Anything can happen. I repeat, anything can happen. And we may just find that Osinbajo becomes a safe bet for all of us. Because by and large, let's face it, people are arguing about age, health, and they're looking at Atiku, age. Looking at Tinubu, age. So you come down, you're beginning to look at competency. Because the ordinary Nigerians are saying, we just got to get this country to function. Because everybody's sick and tired. So remember that Nigerians can break the rules. Who said we can't vote ADC? Who said we can't vote a Labour Party? Yeah, but go on.
For the general election, sir, that is where we have problem. I wish they would allow the masses to vote, free under a free and fair election. You will be surprised who is going to emerge. You will be surprised who is going to emerge as candidates under APC and PDP, since those two political parties are the dominant parties in Nigeria. So if masses are allowed to nominate candidates for APC and PDP, you will be amazed with the results. But since it's concentrated in the hands of few politicians, few cabals in the country, they will nominate the person that is in their own favor, their own self-interest, not the interest of the masses.
Okay. Yeah, you are correct in what you're analyzing. The only comment I would like to make on that is that that's the reason why because this particular assembly, the National Assembly, in their own wisdom, out of the sheer experience, decided that the primaries ought to be driven by direct primaries, not indirect. Direct primaries mean if you're registered under APC, nominate. If you're registered under ADC, nominate. If you're registered under PDP, nominate. But then the power, the cabal, back again to the cabal politics, decided to scratch that and let us scatter the country. This, believe it or not, Nekben, this is another, when was it that Tofa and Abiola, this is exactly what has happened. We've gone back to that same era of destroying the country and not making it move forward. So the presidency, with some interest group, the cabal now decided that it should be indirect. And indirect means the parties will force the people who will vote to be the one who will vote according to their dictates, and therefore not according to the people. So for now, we're not practicing democracy. I don't know what you want to call what we're practicing, but some kind of tolerable democracy is what we're practicing. And that's where we are. But rightly, like you say, if the people were allowed to even nominate at primaries, which would have been direct primaries, would have gotten a better outcome. So maybe someday. And that's why we're also hoping for an independent candidacy. It was there in one of the amendments in the Constitution, but we haven't gotten the amendments through. So if it does, then maybe as at that point, people can now say, oh, you can go ahead and nominate who you want in your party. We, the electorate, will vote our conscience and our thinking.
So when you allow few rich, well-grounded, corrupt politicians in the country to nominate candidates, what do you expect? So we are expecting. I keep telling Nigerians that if these people nominate the worst politician in the country, you have no choice. You have die to APC and PDP. If they nominate the worst politicians in the country as their party leaders, so you have no choice to choose one out of the two. You have no choice. That is why our power is very limited in the Nigerian politics. If we are allowed to nominate candidates for these political parties in the country, it will minimize the corruption embedded in the system, and it will give more opportunity, right, for democracy to strive. Like this, there's no democracy. And even the general election that we said, okay, the masses are allowed to vote for whoever, the corruption embedded in the system, the selling of votes, election practices and everything is another issue affecting election in Nigeria. Primary is not good. The system of conducting primaries in Nigeria is not favorable to the masses. So if there's any way they can amend the constitution to give opportunity to the masses to elect candidates for these political parties, I think it will help to enhance democracy in Nigeria.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I don't think that's not arguable. I think that ought to be the stand. But you hope that the parties themselves, in terms of political culture, can evolve internal democracy within the parties themselves. When we begin to see internal democracy and ordinary people join political parties so that their voices can be heard, because that's something that is happening. We only criticize from the outside. We are not participants, and we must participate by going into parties. If you are in the party, then you can affect the local can affect the state, and the state can affect the national. So we have to look at what is the quality of the political actors. If the policy change, intelligence begins to come. And what is also happening in the South, we're busy. But of course, they're not going to allow us so that I don't. You went low. You can hear me now. You can hear me.
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So yeah. So I'm saying that if there is more internal democracy in the political parties, and there's more education, then there is more participation by the people by registering for political parties. That will inject new blood, new thinking inside political parties, and that can ultimately influence. Because for now, and And as I'm saying this for now, and I've repeated it about 3 times, you won't believe it. There is, call it, someone you may want to criticize in terms of the kind of you know, thing that you will not approve of in the country, being a power broker. It's not a politician, but he has, through whatever nefarious means, gathered money with which he invests in politicians. And I heard that some group of politicians either left Kaduna or Kano to go and pay homage, call it Salah homage, to this money bag, who is not a politician, but who is a kingmaker from the side. As long as you have such people, as long as you have such people in the system, it doesn't do the system any good, because they throw their money and throw their influence and subvert the people's will and influence political outcomes.
So that is what we are talking about. It is the process of building structures in the country. So there are some really powerful Nigerians that can shape elections, that can shape the elections. So that is how, yes, you don't have to be a governor of a state or a local government chairman in order for you to maintain power in the political sphere. So if you have the power of mobilizing people or rigging vote for the favor of a certain political party in Nigeria, definitely you are very powerful. So these are some of the people that they build their structures around in Nigeria to help them rig elections. We still don't have proper democracy. Constitution should be amended to allow the masses to elect candidates for political parties, because APC and PDP, we don't trust them. They are ready to nominate any candidates that will favor them, not the masses. So, and when they bring this candidate to us, we have no choice, because we have to vote for one out of the two. So if, for instance, they nominate the worst candidate from APC tomorrow and the other one from PDP, we know that these two political parties are the dominant ones in Nigeria right now. So all eyes on APC and PDP. Nobody is even discussing about other political parties, because we know that they don't have the structures in the country to emerge as a major candidate. So therefore, we are all eyes on the two political parties. So, the limitation placed on the masses is obvious here. That is what I'm concerned about in this upcoming election.
But can I make a suggestion? Well, maybe this is a theoretic suggestion. Ideally, if this was a growing political culture and a growing economy, a growing country, you would expect political scientists to go to the drawing boards and come up with a redesign of political party structure. How do you get it to work? Because remember that we just inherited some of these things. This part of our own colonial experience, and we haven't come out of it. In between, the military came, destroyed most of it, and we're trying to rebuild, but we're not rebuilding properly. Therefore, the political scientists ought to come with a better theoretic framework that says, if you want to form a political party, A, B, C, D are the steps to take. Then we now begin to get it right. So they become prescriptive, theoretic positions. Then that way you begin to have a better culture of politics, and that can save us. But for now, the political scientists are there in the university. They're not coming up with any ideas. Nothing new. The last time you may have heard anything from the university was during Babangida, and of all persons, he was not an academic. Then he relied on Professor Samuel Yoweri, and incidentally, people came from the Midwest. Samuel Yoweri, the Benin guy, forgotten his name now, now late, who used to be in the Department of Political Science and Department of Public Administration, University of Benin, who gave the ideas about option A4. That option A4 was what we used, and it solved a problem. And it was supposed to be like a template for you to solve ethnicity and solve difficulty of voting and no rigging. So they had come up with it. But what else has happened? Nothing. What have the academicians doing? They offer themselves to go and become electoral officers. or maybe collation officers, and they collate whatever it is they want to collate, announce very fictitious, sometimes fictitious results. And you see what has happened. We're only hoping that with technology that is now embedded in the new constitutional electoral act amendment, that now you can transmit votes from the collation center straight into the data center in Abuja. And we hope that when that happens, we may get results that are genuine, acceptable. We may not like the candidate, but at least we'll get acceptable results. If that's all we're able to do between the last 7 years, so be it. Maybe that's the progress we've gotten so far.
You see what happened in this past election in the US, that Donald Trump was allowed to run for only one term. One term. Can we do that in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Can we do that in Nigeria? Do you think any sitting president will allow another one to take the office without finishing that, completing that 8 years? That's exactly what happened in the past election in Nigeria. That Atiku won the election. What people claim that he won the election, but because of the corruption in the system and the election malpractices, he was not allowed to emerge as the candidate. So that is what we experience in Nigeria. We have to work on democracy in Nigeria. We still don't have proper democracy in the country. And the system is affecting the masses.
I agree. Badly. Now, again, what I like to comment is you expect again the theoretician, the political science, come up with some ideas about doing a study of what does anybody achieve in 2 terms. Who are those who did 1 term and performed excellently well? By the time you have a comparative analysis, then you can present it like data and say to Nigerians, 2 terms does not produce a better result. Because call it from a media standpoint, call it some kind of, call it supposition without the affirmation of theory and statistics. By and large, those who do, when people go into their 2nd term, they just take the people for granted. They do whatever they like and then ride roughshod on the people, and there's nothing you can do about them. And that's not good. That is the experience we've had. Two terms does not produce any result. But you need an empirical study that will prove to the people patently clear that nobody should even go for secondary. And must you? After all, you're allowed to come back after, by the Constitution. It's not a back-to-back thing. You don't have to do 8 years. You do 4 years. Go away, come back. But they think you must. It's the money game. Look at the amount of money they take from security votes. Take all the perquisites, and you want that to stay on for 8 years. And it amounts to billions. And look at the new game they play. When they're through with it, it's like what Oshimole wanted to do. He initially wanted to be a senator in Edo North. I don't know what got into him. Now he says he wants to be the president. Because all of them, after they've done 8 years as governors, take a lot of retirement benefits, collect a lot of after service funds from their states. Then they head into the Senate, where they now earn how much? Millions every month. So the system is too money pervasive, and we ought to remove money from the system so that the people don't think that they must stay on and on and on. Can they make, even if you gather money for 4 years, the money they make, they won't start up businesses. They won't do something that benefits the people. Can't you do something else other than politics? Can't you do something? Look at Wike was local government chairman. Let's take Amechi. Amechi was the local government chairman. He left local government chairmanship, went to be a speaker, 8 years, did the chairmanship, I think about two terms, maybe 6 years, add another 8 of speaker, that's 14. Then you go to be a governor for another 8 years. Then you go to be a minister for another 8 years. You don't have another life. You don't have anything else to do other than government. And that's what many of them do. Even Oshibanjo was, as soon as he came from the university, served as Attorney General, then moved over to vice presidency. Does he remember what it is to even practice law? That's the system. The system is just not good at all. But I don't know how we're going to upturn it, that it becomes salvific, that it can become beneficial to the people.
So, sir, from what you said earlier, that the academic institutions in Nigeria intervening, you understand, writing papers, publishing books, that will help to shape the constitution of Nigeria. We haven't really seen anything so obvious over these years. Maybe there are some out there that the politicians are suppressing them, or in Nigeria, Africa, people used to say that if you want to keep anything secret from any African person, put it in a book. Probably they have not been reading. That is why we don't know. Maybe it's existing in the school system. We are not sure. But we haven't really seen any academic writing that helped to shape the Nigerian politics over these years. None.
No, but share with you my own personal experience growing up in Nigeria. In the 60s, when Professor Kenneth Dike, who, remember, was an Igbo man, was the vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan. And remember that University of Ibadan is the premier university in Nigeria. At that time, when the vice chancellor of that university, Professor Dike, pontificated over any issue in the country, the politicians rolled back. Then we respected academia. Then over the years, it was this romancing with the military that destroyed the academia. They now began to want to be commissioners. They wanted to jobs. They wanted to be board chairmen. And as long as you're wanting those things, and who are they in the military? Look at what was their qualification. G4, class 4, failures, all went into the army. Then since you are falling head over heels for money and for power, and you're coming. So I don't respect book. So the academia destroy themselves before the politicians. And now they even do more research work for politicians that is doing research with an objective to have conclusions that favors the politician rather than favoring the truth. And as long as we are in that system, the academia are making themselves redundant and valueless. And that's where we're not getting it right. But I just hope they'll have conscience. They'll have conscience to know that they have a role to play in upturning the system and moving it right. So that even their own students are now built into a new value structure.
I think we still have a long way to go. We need a proper democracy in order to have good governance.
Absolutely. I agree with you entirely.
That's it, sir. Wike is currently aspiring for the presidency. He's very large. Some people are saying that Wike will be able to handle Nigeria because in Nigeria, we need a very tough leader. And Wike is one of the toughest in the country. We need tough leader who can handle the country because, Nigerians, when you are too humble, you cannot manage Nigerians. When you are too quiet, you are too gentle, I would say. When you are too gentle, you cannot handle Nigerians. We are tough people. We need a very tough and intelligent leader to lead the country. Some people are saying that Wike is good. Some people are saying he's arrogant, however, he's tough. We need tough person. But is Wike going anywhere in this upcoming election?
I have my doubt. You're already laughing. No, the truth of the matter is, how far can he go? Because yes, he's tough, but incidentally, I don't know what I mentioned to you. A friend called me up as soon as Wike declared in Benue, maybe 2-3 months ago. A friend called me all the way, and we held a 1-hour conversation on the phone all the way from Kaduna that we should work for Wike because he believed that Wike is the kind of man. I have my sympathy when you come from Kaduna. You need a guy like that who should come and maybe open his eyes before the Fulanis and everybody else. But is that exactly what you want right now in the country? That's another question. He's brave, yes. He speaks his mind, yes. But we need intelligence. Then you want to put it in apropos with what he's doing in rivers. Has he, with all the money he has, he's been building bridges, building flyovers. Is that what makes a country? Is that what a country needs? I hear some people, some other teachers or some kind of workers have not been paid. There was something I saw online with somebody from Rivers complaining. So If he has not saved these people, how is he going to save Nigeria? Is it flyovers? Infrastructure are not, you talk about human capital development. That's what builds a people. And we need education. We need good health. Those are some of the focus. Technology, IT, ICT. Those are the kind of things that propel the country to growth. Anything else, it's not going to do it. And I don't know whether he's that kind of person. He doesn't look brilliant enough for this country. So I don't know. And given his brashness, it will turn off a lot of people. After all, he went to Anambra State a few days back. Of course, he doled out money to the delegates and told them that, look, don't waste your vote for a man who will not win. Please vote for me. Is that what you want to tell Igbos in Anambra? Does that look same politic? And therefore, that's the kind of language he will use everywhere. Yeah. It will annoy people. He went to Umahi, said that it was whether he knows about how Umahi was, the court case that was to remove Umahi in Ebonyi. Do you open your mouth to a fellow governor that way? Then he had his quarrel with Obaseki here in the state. You quarrel with everybody. Is that you ought to make friends. So if you're not going to be a friendly person, then you're not good in politics.
That's what I wanted to say, sir. You have said it all. Wike is a very tough politician in Nigeria, but in the Nigerian politics over these years, if you are not loyal to the political authors, you can see Obaseki right now. I know that Obaseki has been having some problem with Oshomole, but Obaseki is still maintaining that strong tie with President Buhari, even though he's in the opposition party.
Yeah.
So you understand that. So
absolutely.
In order for you to strive in Nigeria, you cannot be that aggressive to other politicians. Wike has been practicing that even to traditional rulers in Rivers State. The way he addressed them, the way he undermined their power, their traditional power. No, it's impossible. If you want to strive politically in the country, you have to learn how to, traditional rulers are very powerful in Nigeria, if you don't know. Like in Benin, for instance, if our Oba is not, and our Oba is not partisan, I will say that. But if you are not respecting our king, you won't get any vote from any Benin man or woman. Sorry.
Absolutely.
If you are not, Oba of Benin is not partisan. I will repeat that, it's not partisan. However, you as a politician, if you are not respecting our Oba, that traditional stool in Benin Kingdom, no Benin man or woman will vote for you. So the same thing applies to many other states in Nigeria. Wike has not been respectful to traditional rulers, and he has been having too much problem with politicians. He's too aggressive. We understand toughness is good in order to manage Nigerians. However, toughness to a certain limit. So Wike, that will affect him for this his ambition for the presidency. It will affect him. For me, I don't see him going anywhere yet. He needs to work on his behavior. And
we're talking about,
it needs to work on himself properly.
It's anger management. Anger management.
Yeah. That's what I would say about that.
But when you talk about toughness, it's Obasanjo not a tough person, but yet he's very diplomatic. That's how to be sensible. So you can't be tougher than Obasanjo. Obasanjo can call the army and shoot you down, but get nice about it and ask you for pounded yam afterwards. But that's Obasanjo. So I don't know about he being tough and getting no result. And at the end, he's going to be so disgraced. But that's why sometimes they say what is angling for is to be a vice president. To who? You have another article. You want Tambuwa. Is that what you want? You want Tambuwa to be your vice president, then you be the president? I don't know how he did his calculation, but that is his calculation. They were schoolmates in the law school, he and Tambuwa. So they've kept this bond. But whether that's going to be the thing that will salvage him, I don't know. So let him try his luck.
So if you have the ambition of running for the presidency in future, you have to start building your relationship right from now before you will declare your intention in 10 years' time. You cannot be sitting here, be criticizing openly criticizing the Northerners, criticizing people. Look at what he did to the Easterners in River State. The way he has been treating people.
Big.
So yeah, when you relegate or when you deal with one Igbo man, you are dealing with all Igbos. So you have to be careful with what you do. So right now, Wike record is very, very bad among the Igbos. So when you look at the Northerners, the same thing. And he said he's aspiring for the presidency. How can that be possible? So when it comes to presidency, it's national. It's not in River State that you can say whatever you want. You have to be able to win the minds of people across different ethnic groups in Nigeria. He's good in River State, but I don't think he should go beyond that now, because he has not created any good record for himself. For him to be going beyond River State, he should back up a little bit and go work on himself and come back in the next 10 years or 8 years or whatever. He has not created any structure for himself. But no, it should just remain River State. Let's move on to the youths. Shawore is still aspiring for the presidency. I saw that. I saw his flyer or whatever. Some people have been speculating news on social media that he's currently aspiring for the presidency. What do you think, sir?
No, absolutely. I mean, he's not carried himself in any shape or form to look like he can go on and become the president of anybody. I don't think so. He's been creating problems. He's been back in arrested by the police, EFCC, DSS, and all of that. No, he has not created the right image. It doesn't look like he has it. So let's not waste time even analyzing him. No, I don't think he will go any distance. And in which party? Which party? So the less you talk about him, the better. He neither has the personality nor even the capacity to be a president. So no way. It's a no.
Let's quickly dive into Dele Momodu.
No, I think he's brazen. He's made an effort, but I'm not sure he'll go any distance. He doesn't have the money. It doesn't have the robust structure. But it's good he comes out and at least add to the political process. Because unless people like that provided themselves call them sacrificial lambs, and made some effort to expand democratic practices in Nigeria, will not be saying we want democracy. So Dele Momodu, it's okay. It's okay, but of course, he's not going to go anywhere. Who's mentioning him? It's not been mentioned in the press, and nobody's talking about its possibility and its chances. And of course, he's in PDP. I mean, well, where? I don't know. So it's good. He's a good man, but he can't make it.
He's a very good man. He can't make it. Yeah, for the presidency, it's a little bit too much for him. I would recommend like governorship election, gubernatorial election for him, for his state. He's from what state? Ondo, right? He's from Ondo.
You'll be shocked, Nekme. Dele Momodu is from Uzeba. He's an Edo person. He's same state as you. You're shocked? That's the truth.
And when he's my brother, Edo State's brother.
Yes. So before he declared, he had to travel to his village, which he hadn't been to for nearly 30, 40 years, to go and let his people know that I want your blessings to be the president of Nigeria. He came back to his roots. But, they grew up in Ife. I think the father is Uzeba, but the mother is Ife. So he grew up more in Ife. And so who think he is, and with that name Dele, you think he's Yoruba, it's not. And I think he did even Yoruba in the university. So people think he's Yoruba. No, he's from Uzeba. He's an Edo man.
I saw that a few months ago, briefly, when he visited the Oba of Benin and Obaseki.
And what he's been doing in the media. I mean, he's done a lot of things in Africa. He's interviewed heads of state. He's been going from African country to the other African country, trying to popularize Africa. And so He does it in a colorful magazine called Ovation. So he's done well for himself and he's made money thereby. But whether it's enough money to go into politics or go to be a presidential candidate, that's a different subject matter.
PDP will not choose Dele Momodu where there is Atiku. These are the people. We even have the former president of Senate, Bukola Saraki, is there. These are well-grounded PDP members, those who have been organizing and maintaining this political party over these years. You cannot just come from nowhere, be hoping that they will nominate you in their primary. So I would say Dele Momodu is a very nice guy, and he has this business-minded, I like him. I think many Nigerians like him. However, in the political level in Nigeria, they won't nominate you in their primaries. So you need to start from somewhere and work, pay your dues. When we say pay your dues, work for the party before you have any chance of winning their primaries. So that is
I agree.
I think we have done a lot today, sir. So next time we'll reserve the rest discussion for next political discussion. That would be maybe on Wednesday again. We'll come back again to do political analysis. I think we have done enough today.
Okay. We've had a real review of some of them and looking at their chances and looking at their possibilities. And that's why the overall headline is pretenders and contenders. So we have pretenders, those who will never ever make it. And then there are the real contenders. So we've looked at least today, some of the pretenders and some of the contenders. So the next time we look at them again and see who are those still falling under each category. So
for now, we're going to say bye to everybody and then we'll come back on Wednesday. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bolo, thank you for joining us all the way from the ancient city of Benin. Thank you.
Thank you very much.